Scaffolding essential to building New York. New York City, the city that never sleeps. A city built on construction and ambition. And when it comes to building in the Big Apple, scaffolding is a fact of life. From skyscrapers to brownstones, these temporary structures give workers access to heights, making repairs and renovations possible. But these platforms high above the city streets also come with serious risks. That's why understanding and following NYC's suspended scaffold regulations is non-negotiable. Lives depend on it. One wrong move, one faulty piece of equipment, and the consequences can be devastating. New York City has some of the strictest scaffolding regulations in the country. These rules are here for a reason, to keep workers safe. It's about understanding that these regulations exist to protect the hardworking men and women who build and maintain this city. So, let's break down what you need to know about suspended scaffold safety in New York City. Because when it comes to working at heights, knowledge is power. In the world of construction, knowledge is power. And when it comes to suspended scaffolds, the right training can be the difference between a job well done and a tragedy. In New York City, training isn't just a good idea, it's the law. Every worker who sets foot on a suspended scaffold needs proper training. This means understanding the ins and outs of the specific type of scaffold being used, how to inspect it for defects, and how to use personal fall arrest systems. This training needs to be hands-on, not just some boring lecture in a stuffy room. Workers need to get their gloves dirty and practice under the watchful eye of a qualified instructor. Foremen need an even higher level of training. They need to be experts on scaffold regulations, hazard identification, and emergency procedures. Even experienced workers need regular refreshers. New York City's construction landscape is constantly changing, with new regulations and technologies emerging all the time. Make sure your crew stays up to date, and don't hesitate to bring in certified trainers for on-site instruction. Now, let's talk about the specialists, the folks who turn a pile of metal tubes and planks into a safe working platform high above the city streets' licensed riggers. These aren't just your average construction workers. They're the elite athletes of the scaffolding world, the ones who understand the physics and engineering that go into suspending tons of material stories above the ground. In New York City, you can't just have anyone assembling or dismantling a suspended scaffold. It's got to be a licensed rigger, someone who's proven they know the ropes, literally. These professionals are responsible for everything from selecting the right components to ensuring the scaffold is perfectly balanced and secured. Licensed riggers are the neurosurgeons of the scaffolding world. They understand the stresses and strains that different loads place on the structure. They know how to calculate the correct counterweights to keep everything stable. They're not just there to follow the rules, they're there to save lives. Section 4. Building a safe scaffold from counterweights to connections. All right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts, literally, of what makes a safe suspended scaffold. Because when you're talking about a platform hanging hundreds of feet in the air, every detail matters. First off, we've got to talk about support. Suspended scaffolds aren't just magically floating up there. They're supported by a system of outrigger beams, brackets, and tiebacks, all connected to the building itself. These connections are critical because they transfer the weight of the scaffold and everything on it to the building's structural frame. Next up, let's talk balance. That's where counterweights come in. These heavy-duty blocks are strategically placed on the scaffold to offset the weight of the platform, materials, and workers. The licensed rigger carefully calculates the weight and placement of these counterweights to ensure the entire system is stable and secure. And of course, we can't forget about the platform itself. Section 5. Employer responsibility, safety from the top down. Now let's talk about responsibility. Because at the end of the day, creating a safe work environment starts at the top with the employers. These are the folks signing the paychecks, bidding on the jobs, and ultimately responsible for the safety of everyone on the work site. First and foremost, employers need to provide their workers with the right equipment. We're talking about everything from harnesses and lanyards to properly maintained scaffolds and safety lines. Cutting corners on safety gear is like playing Russian roulette with your employees' lives. And it's not just about providing the equipment, it's about making sure everyone knows how to use it. Employers are responsible for providing comprehensive safety training to all workers who will be on or around a suspended scaffold. This training should be conducted by qualified instructors and cover everything from hazard identification to emergency procedures. Employers need to create a culture of safety on the worksite. When safety is everyone's priority, accidents are less likely to happen. By investing in safety, employers are investing in the well-being of their workforce and the success of their business.